The very first tool you need to explore this world is a web browser. Think of it as your special vehicle, your car for the digital highway. Applications like Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, or Microsoft Edge are all web browsers. They are powerful software programs installed on your computer or phone, and their main job is to fetch information from all corners of the internet and display it right in front of you, in a neat, readable format. Without a browser, the internet would just be a massive, inaccessible ocean of code. Now, if a browser is your car, then a URL or Uniform Resource Locator is the exact address of your destination. Every single thing on the internet, whether it's a page, an image, or a video, has a unique address. For example, when you type https www.youtube.com into your browser, you are giving it a very specific command, a precise address to go to. This URL tells the browser exactly which server to connect to and which specific file to retrieve. It's like a postal address for the digital world, ensuring your browser doesn't get lost among the billions of websites out there. It's the fundamental system that keeps the entire web organized and accessible. Once your browser reaches the destination using the URL, what it finds there is a web page. A web page is a single document, much like a single page in a massive book. It is typically written in a language called HTML, or Hypertext Markup Language. This page can contain all sorts of things: text, pictures, videos, links to other pages, and much more. When you are reading an article on a news website or watching a video, you are interacting with a single web page. These pages are the basic building blocks of the internet, the individual pieces of content that we consume and interact with every single day when we go online. So if a web page is a single page, then what is a website? A website is simply a collection of many related web pages, all linked together and stored under a single domain name, like youtube.com. Think of it as the complete book, while the web pages are its individual pages. For example, the YouTube website has a homepage, a page for your subscriptions, a page for trending videos, and millions of pages for each individual video. All these pages are part of the same YouTube book or website. They are all interconnected, allowing you to navigate from one page to another seamlessly, creating a complete and cohesive experience for you, the user. Now that we understand what a website is, let's talk about its types. Broadly, websites can be divided into two main categories: static and dynamic. A static website is the simpler of the two. Think of it as a printed brochure or a digital pamphlet. The content on its pages is fixed and doesn't change unless a developer manually edits the source code files. Every visitor who comes to a static website sees the exact same content. These websites are usually built with basic languages like HTML and CSS. They are quick to load and cheaper to develop, making them perfect for simple portfolio sites, resumes, or small business information pages where the content doesn't need frequent updates. On the other hand, we have dynamic websites. These are the powerhouses of the modern internet. Unlike a static site, a dynamic website can change its content automatically and in real time, based on various factors like the time of day, the location of the user, or user-specific preferences. Think about your Facebook or Instagram feed. What you see is completely different from what your friend sees at the same moment. This is because the content is generated on the fly by the server. These websites use advanced programming languages like PHP, Python, or JavaScript, along with databases, to create a personalized and interactive experience. E-commerce sites, social media platforms, and news portals are all prime examples of dynamic websites. Let's take a clear example to understand this better. Imagine a simple restaurant website. If it's a static site, it will have a page with its menu, address, and opening hours. This information will remain the same for every single person who visits, day after day, until the owner asks a developer to update the file. Now imagine a food delivery website like Zomato or Swiggy. This is a dynamic website. It shows you restaurants near your current location, displays real-time order tracking, and provides personalized recommendations based on your past orders. The content is constantly changing and is tailored specifically for you, which is something a static website simply cannot do. So, to summarize the difference, The key lies in how the content is delivered. For a static website, the pre-built page is stored on the server and sent directly to your browser as is. For a dynamic website, your browser sends a request, and the server actively builds a custom page for you at that very moment by pulling information from a database and running code. This makes dynamic sites more complex and engaging, allowing for features like user logins, comments, and online shopping carts. The choice between static and dynamic depends entirely on the purpose and goals of the website itself. The magic of the internet, whether it's a static or dynamic site, happens because of a fundamental concept called the client-server model. It's a continuous conversation, a digital tango between two main players. In this model, the client is your device, your computer, laptop, or smartphone, and more specifically, the web browser you are using. The client is the one that requests information. When you type a URL or click a link, your browser, the client, creates a request for a specific web page. It's like raising your hand in a classroom to ask the teacher a question. You are initiating the conversation and asking for something specific. The server, on the other hand, is a powerful computer that is always on and connected to the internet. Its main job is to store website files, HTML, CSS, images, and listen for requests from clients like your browser. When the server receives a request, its job is to find the requested information and send it back to the client. Think of the server as the super smart librarian or teacher who has all the books and answers. It processes the request, locates the correct book or page, and then serves it back to the student who asked for it. This entire request and response cycle happens incredibly fast, often in just a fraction of a second. Let's walk through a simple example. You want to visit the Google homepage. You open your Chrome browser, the client, and type google.com. Your browser sends an HTTP request over the internet to one of Google's many servers. The server receives this request. If it were a simple static page, the server would just grab the index.html file for Google's homepage and send it straight back. Since Google's page is dynamic, the server does a bit more work. It might check your location to give you a localized doodle, and then assembles the HTML page and sends it back to your browser as a response. Your browser then receives this response, which is just a bunch of code. It reads the HTML to understand the structure of the page, the CSS to know how to style it, the colors, fonts, and layout, and the JavaScript to handle any interactive elements. It then renders all of this information into the visually appealing web page that you see on your screen. This back-and-forth communication, this client-server tango, is the core process that powers every single interaction you have on the web, from a simple search to a complex online transaction. It's a beautifully efficient system for exchanging information across the globe. We've talked a lot about servers, but what exactly are they? And how does a website get onto one? A web server is essentially a high-performance computer that stores website data and delivers it to users upon request. However, it's not just the physical machine, it's also the specialized software running on it, like Apache or NGINX. This software is designed to handle HTTP requests from clients. When someone wants to start a website, they can't just use their home computer as a server. A proper server needs to be running 24/7, have a super fast and reliable internet connection, and be kept secure and maintained. This is where website hosting comes in. Website hosting is a service that provides the technology and space for a website to be viewed on the internet. Hosting companies own and manage large groups of servers in facilities called data centers. When you want to launch a website, you essentially rent a small space on one of these servers. You upload all your website's files, your HTML documents, images, and other assets to this rented space. The hosting company then takes care of all the technical heavy lifting, keeping the server running, maintaining its security, and ensuring it has a constant connection to the internet so people from anywhere in the world can access your site at any time. There's also a crucial distinction to be made between the internet and an intranet. The internet is the massive global network of computers that we all know and use. It's a public space, accessible to anyone with a connection. It's what allows you to visit websites from all over the world, send emails to anyone, and connect on social media. It is a worldwide web of interconnected networks. An intranet, however, is a private network that belongs to a specific organization, like a company or a school. It uses the same technologies as the internet, web browsers, servers, and so on, but it is firewalled off from the public. For example, your company might have an intranet where employees can access internal documents, company news, or HR portals. You can only access this network if you are an employee, usually from within the office, or through a secure login from outside. So, the key difference is accessibility. The internet is public and global, while an intranet is private and local to an organization. In summary, web servers and hosting services are the backbone that holds up the digital world, and understanding the difference between the public internet and private intranets helps clarify who can access what information and where. This entire infrastructure is what makes our daily digital lives